All right. Hello, everyone. Looks like we're live. I'm really excited. We have Debra Zachau joining us from Grow Your Light. Is that the channel
Uh-huh.
name? Perfect.
Grow your light. hmm
I love that. Um, we'll start off by having Debra just introduce herself a little bit, but um, Debra's really gifted, and especially I love her take on using numerology into the politics. And so we're going to talk a little about 2024 and some political figures. But do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Debra?
Thank you so much. Yes, I love talking about myself. No, I don't. I am Debra Zachau, and my channel name is Grow Your Light. So I have two domains pointed at my website, Grow Your Light, and then debrazachau.com. So
Mm,
you can always find me. And I do numbers, and I do private readings with numbers, tarot, and natural gifts.
mhm.
I have a 92% accuracy rating and have done over 10,000 readings. I say that only
Wow.
because I have taken the theories of tarot, what the traditional meaning of each card is, and I put it to the test. Every single phone call I get,
Mm,
every reading I get, I put it to the test. So I've found some things in tarot that it changes it a little bit.
yeah.
That's what I have in my video course. My tarot deck is Clarity Tarot. And then same with numbers. I've learned putting the numbers towards a person, it changes a little bit versus from the book. But that's
Yeah.
how we explore. We just practice. So thanks for letting me bring
Yeah.
and brag
And I
about that.
and I when you think of it too, the tarot, I'm sure the numbers, it's really just a focus on opening up that intuition. With the tarot, I mean, it depends on how it's laid out, the other cards around it, and what is sticking out to you with it.
Right.
What are you feeling, or what are you seeing? Using those clear senses. And so, yeah, they're tools, but we grow
Mhm.
our own personal relationship with the tools, and it kind of grows and develops as we get more experience. Which 10,000 readings, that's a lot.
Oh,
I'm tired for you.
well, I got to tell you, one of the things I like about the numbers is that I can do someone's number. Let's say I'm on the hotline, I'm working on the hotline. I ask everyone what their birthday is. So it's on the record because everything's recorded. It's on the record that they're over 18. That's what I want. And then
Hmm.
I thought, well, I'm going to start doing numbers. And that's how I got into numbers
Yeah.
and learning about it. But when you know a person's number, life path number, you will be able to know how they hear information,
Mm,
which makes your tarot reading even more rich because you'll understand the message is the same in the tarot reading, right?
mm,
You're not going to make it different, but how you say it to a person and to connect immediately with that person is what
yeah.
numbers do.
Like that personality that they have
Yeah,
from their life number and those characteristics. I
right,
love
right. It's very fun.
Yeah. And I've seen you on other people's channels. I've worked with you on your channel. I think we've streamed it to my channel as well. But I love the way that you read, especially with the numerology. I think it's really special and really cool.
Thank you. I really get excited about it. I
Hmm.
don't know why. Just makes so much sense to me. And I want to teach people how, just through these conversations,
Yeah.
how they can look at a situation, any situation in their family, with friends, for themselves, or in the media, and figure out, oh, is this something I should, light my hair on fire about? Or
Right.
is it just bad actors, right? So,
Yeah, I love
um,
that.
yeah.
And I think even you offer classes on that as well, correct? Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yes, I just started memberships, and one
mhm,
of the memberships is to learn the tarot and numerology. But you don't have to know every card or anything like that, or know any numbers to be able to get benefit out of this. You just come with whatever you have, because what I do is I don't have these events on YouTube where it's
Mm,
just the chat, and then I take those members off site to Zoom, and we just have conversations one-on-one. So I'm able to know what students, I'll say student, what their life path number is, how
mm,
they filter information, right? And
yeah.
so when I'm doing numerology over there, I know how to say it to that person to where they go, oh, I get it, right? The penny
Mm,
drop. So it's a fascinating, a real
yeah. I
fascinating.
think I may check it out for myself because I find it really interesting just to
Yeah,
learn a different concept of it.
it's really fun.
All right.
I'm going to share someone who is on the internet today,
Mhm.
because for the longest time I've been trying to describe what the universal year is and how it affects us and
Yeah.
affects all around us, from going from a 7, which is 2023 is a 7 universal year. The whole universe, the whole world is under 2023. So that means the whole universe, the whole world is under a 7 energy signature. And I've been trying to find the right words to explain what the next year brings, because that's an
Yeah.
8. Couldn't do it. But I follow this one gal on the internet. So she said it perfectly. So I'm going to bring that today. And she's got a great website too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do we wanna get into some of the numerology, or, like how telling everybody, like, how they can find their last life path number
Mhm.
and maybe just, like, a brief,
Sure.
meaning of some of them, and then we can get into 2024?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So there are a few words, I mean, numbers that affect you. And first of all, we have the universal number, which
Mhm.
is 2023 is 7. And then you have your life path number that never changes. It's always the same. And you add your month, your day, and your year of birth, one number at a time.
Mm.
And you're going to end up with a double-digit number. And we need to reduce that. So you add that double-digit number together, and it'll reduce to a single digit,
Yeah.
or it will be a master number. So if you're doing your numbers and all of a sudden you say, oh, 22, don't reduce that to 4.
Mm.
That's a master number. It's a little bit
Same with
different than a
11,
4.
right?
So 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. I did meet 155 in my
Okay.
whole life. But anyway, then there is a personal year. The way you figure out the personal year is your month. Add your month and day together, and instead of your
Birth year.
personal year, your year of birth, you add the current year.
Mm.
That's why when I do the numbers, I'll say, oh, I'll add this, and then I'll add 7 to get your personal number. And that's because 7 is 2023.
Right.
Next year, we'll do the same thing, but we'll add 8.
Mm.
But if you're a 7 personal year this year, you'll be an 8 and then a 9. You'll just go in a row. It goes in 9-year cycles. So that's how you can figure out who you are.
Yeah. I love that.
So
And I think for myself, I know that the universal years, obviously, 2024, we're going into an 8. Um, for myself, my birth number is 1,
mhm.
and I think my year number, um,
Want me to figure it out?
yeah,
Okay, so what's your month? We'll do it for
it's
everybody. What's
July
your month?
29th. I think
July 29th.
29th. I think my personal year is an 8 as well.
So it's July 29th,
Hmm.
and I'm going to add 7 because we're still in 2023.
Okay.
And so you are in a 7 personal year.
Yeah.
And I always say this, once I see the number again and I know who you are, and I'm thinking I know I wanted to say, and this has been a very difficult year for you with a double
Yeah.
7 like that. And but I think I say that every time. Um, so
Yeah, in
that's
some
good.
ways, this last year was, in very much ways, very challenging, but also too, I think it's all on your perspective, perspective. If you take the hardships as a lesson, and that's kind of what I've done, is
Yes.
a lot of lessons and growth this year.
Yeah.
Um, it makes it a little bit easier, but at times earlier on this year, it was pretty intense, and I think Saturn was pretty heavy in my chart too this year. So
Oh, yeah. Saturn. Yeah. I just learned about Saturn listening to Andre.
yeah.
I heard about that. So Constance says month and day and then year equals month and day and your birth year it equals your life path number. That number never changes.
Hmm.
But month and day and the current year is a personal year number that goes in 9-year cycles that changes every year. So, but in a universal way, I'm going to confuse you a little bit more. I'm sorry, but everything has a number and an energy. So we have 7 universal number, and then inside that we have country numbers,
Mm,
countries, because we have every country has a birthday. Ours is uh, July 4th, right?
right.
1776, which makes us a 5 life path country for
Oh,
USA,
interesting.
which is, I won't go into it now because I want to go to talk about something else.
Okay.
But with that, we have the universal year. So when we switched, I really just want to say, and I've been trying to say it, I'll put in the chat my source, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
There. So there's a lady by the name of Christine DeLore, and she has creativenumerology.com. She's, some people are just real incredible bloggers, and they
Hmm.
have reams and reams of information. And then some of it, like you and I, like to do a video, but sign up for her newsletter because she'll send you what your number means and twice a month or something like that. She's just
Hmm.
really generous. I love the way she writes. And I did find this as an example of how 2023 leaving and 2024 coming in is going to affect us. And I'm going to just point to one thing instead of you guys thinking about yourself personally.
Hmm.
Try and in your imagination, just think about our politics, our entire society and the politics. I'm not going to get into weird stuff with that, but listen to this. This is what Christine DeLore does. She just explains it well. Last year, which is 2023, we're doing
Yeah.
the 7. The 7 year was deeply emotional and or confusing for you, but
Hmm.
it enabled you to answer the questions about who you really are and why your life is the way it is. It had to be this way so you could know what your needs really are.
Mm.
Now, enough is enough. It's time to get down to business. So we know what our needs are. My need is to have the majority of society move into the party of fairness.
Hmm.
Okay, that's my desire. So, and then it goes into the 8 universal. So, however, if what you want is out of touch with reality, it could end up being a liability. And if you do not know what you want, life is going to give you the exact
Yeah.
uncertainty. This year, which is the 8th, you must be specific and realistic. The 8 year is a time of self empowerment.
Mm.
Traditionally, 8 is known as the number of power, material, financial gain, achievement, reward, status, and satisfaction. Okay, so then I just want to say, so I want to go into the 8 universal year wanting to be on a certain party. The other party wants to go in and they really believe they are true, right? And what's going to anchor 8 universal year? This is the key. And this is why I'm so confident that we will prevail. Kindness will prevail. And it is
Yeah.
this. But there is another aspect of the number 8 that is rarely spoken about. Yes, 8 is the number of power on the material plane, but it is also the number of accurate information, without which power cannot sustain itself. In fact, accurate information is not enough. There has to be correct understanding of that information. Otherwise, it's useless. Isn't that powerful?
I love that.
It's powerful. She's just
Well,
amazing.
and kind of going on to like the 7 and bringing it into politics too, when you were saying like figuring out what you need, that really resonates with what's going on in our country right now too, because there's an illumination, because what we need are some regulations and rules to bring into our democracy to keep it safe. And then it's like it's going into the 8 year where like you said, it has to be in truth and facts. And so the things that are not of that, it we will see clearly, the truth in that.
Exactly.
I love
And
that.
I think the wind is at our back because, everybody was saying it's a new earth, it's a new ascension. Well, we have to do things a new way.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure numbers a new way, look at the tarot a new way, just be open to a new way. And with this many people on the planet having this strongman syndrome happening right now, it's the earth having an opportunity to do better by looking at what doesn't work for them anymore. And it has to be plain and clear. And boy, have we had it plain and clear what won't work for us.
And I think that's collectively too. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many people in readings right now, and especially since the pandemic, it's that that break, that stopping everything, the world stopping and kind of shutting down. It was really a great time for people to kind of wake up and realize what's no longer serving me in my life. Let's get out of that. What do we want to bring in? And I
Oh,
keep saying
yeah.
it over and over and over again, with my clients. It's a wonderful time to really, people are moving across the country. People are starting their own businesses. It's a really exciting time that we're getting into right now. Things that are really fulfilling for everyone.
Mhm. And that's the pandemic. Didn't that happen around? It began. We started hearing about it in 2019, right?
Yeah.
And then it was
What was it?
so that was
2020. Spring of
2020, right? 2020, we were really stuck, and that was a 4 personal year. It's like you're at home tying up loose ends, figuring out how to do things, and then 2021, we're still in it. And that was a 5, which is this, I got to get out. I got to run around the house. I can't stand it any longer. And then the 2022, we got some order, but that's all the universal years. So,
And it will be interesting too, going into, we're going into 2024. It's an 8. Then it's almost like when the election's over, we're almost into 2025, which is a 9, which is kind of like closing up this chapter to start again for the 1 in 2026.
Yes, I
And
got
that's
to tell
when I see all of this wonderful rules and regulation, working towards making our democracy fair for
stronger.
everyone and not just the wealthy. There's going to be so many positive changes come 2025, but especially into 2026. So it's really interesting how it all lines up.
I got to share something with you.
Yeah.
Because I went back in Trump's numbers. I went back the 9-year cycle and right exactly he started running in 2015, which is the 8 personal year. So that meant in his 7, that's 9 years ago, in 2014, remember when he was at the, he had, when Obama was really getting him at that correspondence dinner. I don't know if you saw that. I thought it was over the line.
A little bit.
I didn't like to see Obama being that mean, but sometimes you just have to do it for a good joke.
Well,
I don't know
I
what
mean,
he was doing.
when you've been attacked too about your birth certificate for years too, it's
Yeah,
kind of like
I
you
could
gotta
see
come it
him
all
moving
back.
it. I know that he's human and all that, but
Yeah.
that's when Trump percolated, well, I'm going to show you, I'll go and be number one and squash you. So
Mm,
that was in the seven personal year, which is 2023 now, 7 personal year. Then
yeah.
he ran in an 8 personal year, bringing it down. Now he was a different guy back there. He was still just awful, but
Mm,
now he's turned a corner into being downright scary.
yeah.
So, so he won he won the presidency in a 9 personal year. And this
Mm,
is where it ties into you and what you're saying about 2026. So that was a 9 personal year, and 9 years, it's 9 years is when you give up what doesn't work for you anymore, and you have to let go of just whatever isn't working for you. But
yeah.
apparently at the time that was working for him, and it shouldn't have been, but it was. And then 2017, he was a 1 personal year. He was going to be a very unique world leader. And then the 2 is when he bullied everybody around. The 3, which is 2019, was creatively seen that the pandemic was just being talked about. And he was
Yeah.
doing all these creative things to keep people from panicking and not spending money. The 4 is when he was rigid. Now he's a life path 4.
Mhm.
So it was like a double rigid. I am not going to tell anybody the real thing, because
Mm,
he felt that worked for him. And then the life taught him other things outside of himself. He had no control over the 2020 election. And
yeah.
so that's what happened. But I
When
thought
he
that was really interesting.
was voted out, would that be a 5 personal year for him for so
Yeah,
2020?
right.
And
What it
fives
was
are
is
all
20,
kind of about
because
change too, right?
I'm sorry?
I said fives are all kind of about like changing,
Changing, but the outside of you gets changed. We have a lot of power, and we can have our own choices and stuff, but during a 5 personal year, you choose how you're going to react to what life is serving, basically. And but 2020, and that's when he lost the election, was a 4 for him, 4
Mhm.
personal year and a 4 universal year. That's was his stubbornness. I'm not leaving the White House.
Yeah.
And then 2021 is was when Biden took over. I'm right
Mhm.
at
Yep.
January 6th thing. So that's the 5 where he life moved in a direction he insisted it not.
Yeah.
And so then the trouble began. No, it was happening before that, but I found that interesting to see the thing, because right now Trump is in a 9 personal year, and he is still not giving up what doesn't work, right?
Yeah, so he's gonna be bringing that into a 1 year, 2024, right?
Exactly. But then there's the 8, right? Lies
Mhm.
can't, truth has to be understood by everybody like a consensus. And that's not the guy's jam. He
Yeah.
doesn't do that. So it's going to be interesting. That's why I'm saying these are numbers. I want everybody to just get your popcorn out. The worst is over, because what we needed to do during this 9-year cycle is define who we are as a country.
Mhm.
When he was elected, there were a lot of people just getting into voting for the first time, and they were, just to remind people, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were together, and then Hillary Clinton won the nomination. But Bernie Sanders, and I love Bernie Sanders, but he did not endorse her right away.
Mhm.
He didn't have his followers say, "Okay, we're going to move over to this car," and so there it was a little bit. And the way it worked out is that people were voting against Hillary and for Trump,
Well,
but
because
against Hillary, not for him.
Bernie
Mhm.
and Trump were both like the change candidates, kind of like Obama in '08. you know, they were kind of going against the norm, you know. With
Mhm.
Bernie, it's a little bit to the left. Trump really wasn't a political figure, and he really talked about draining the swamp, which is kind of funny because in a sense, that's exactly what he's doing, right? His
Yeah.
corruption and all of his hatred and everything has been exposed, and so as we go into, um, you know, 2024, but more so 2025, 2026, it's putting up those guardrails, um, to drain the swamp, to protect our democracy. So
Right.
it's all really interesting.
At least now we're a whole lot more people
Yeah.
are educated voters now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who are educated now because these kids got shot at school. What the
Yeah.
heck is that? That's a wake up call. They look up from their iPads and their phones and stuff saying, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And
Women losing
that,
their rights to make medical decisions for their body, and
oh yeah,
you
all
just
of
have
that.
this clear and present danger and threat to our democracy. And I
Mhm.
think people are really starting to see that. And yeah, it's really interesting too because I mean, Trump's always been out there and not very nice, but
Mhm.
it, it's turning more so now into even darker with, like taking Hitler speeches and kind of making those verbatim. There's a darkness where it's like if he were to get reelected, it would really be the end of our democracy. Um,
Mhm.
so it's a bit scary in that sense, but I think people really see that threat. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, one party is clearly blind to it and kind of living in their own reality, but I think most people really kind of see it for what it is.
I think it's the party of kindness and the party of fairness will prevail.
Hmm.
This is one of our darkest hours, and darkest hours are never pleasant. But I believe we will succeed. There's
Yeah.
according to the numbers. I did see something over here uh, on the chat of what year the U.S. path is. Okay, so this is the cool, another cool thing. Let me tell you. So the United States, the United Kingdom, Russia, and China, also Australia, there's a few others,
Mhm.
Italy, are all in a 9 personal year. I mean,
Okay.
it's so exciting because if they're 1 personal year when America goes into 1, right? But it's got the energy of the 8 on top of it. You really have to be right with those numbers. You have to be really clear with your message and have it be understood by everyone,
Hmm.
not just a few people in your rally. But yes, the United States, all of those big powers are in a 9 personal year. So all of them, I have a feeling that all of them are going to be changing
Yeah.
um, and adopting new ideas. I'm trying to figure out. I just wanted to look here and see about Ukraine. Uh, and this one is Israel is a 9. Sorry, I missed Israel. Israel too is a 9 personal year. Uh, and Zelensky is a 7. Okay. Da, 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 da. I can't find Ukraine just yet, but I will. I'll come across it. I've got all these papers. I love all my papers. But so Trump, Jack Smith is a 9 personal year for him. Syria,
Mm.
Clarence Thomas, Nancy Pelosi, George Santos. But this is like the perfect. George Santos is the first of the dominoes to fall. So it's like
Yeah.
what happened to George. So it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
And it does
and
feel 2024 to me intuitively does feel a little bit like 2023, where I think that they're still kind of uncovering and bringing things to the surface of like the illumination. but it also feels like it's an empowering time too. I mean, I do see, um, and this feels like globally, I do feel like there's a lot of like protests, like people uprising
Mhm.
and speaking truth to what they believe. Um, I think we're going to see that in Russia, because I see Putin probably more than likely leaving um, next year. And so it's like the people are rising up. People are fighting for what they believe in and what is true. We're going to see skirmishes here in the U.S. too, but it's going to be globally, and it's really kind of fighting for, kind of going into the shift as we're getting into a 9 and then a 1, so like a new beginning for us.
Right. But if I can say this, the 7 is more of an individual energy. The 8
Mhm.
is a coming together energy. The 9 is
Okay.
deciding what to part with. The 1 is independence. So the, I want to say that even in your own life, we're going to be affected by this 8 universal year. So that means if you want to start a business, anything tangible, let's say you want to write a book or start a
Mm.
relationship or something like that, all of that is available. It's like the synchronicities are all coming
Mhm.
together. The wind is going to be at your back for that. But your intention, don't start a business just because it's an 8 year and you should be able to profit by the
Right.
numbers. You have to have a deep understanding of how it's going to serve,
Mm.
and or else it'll fall apart. So all the people that feel truly feel that the right is right to take all those rights away. I mean, I can't fathom it, but they really truly feel that when they get to the 8, and especially the first 3 months, they're going to see, even in conversation in their own cities and homes or the constituents, that it's not going to go smoothly
Yeah.
because the sand, a house built on sand doesn't just collapse right away. It's like wears away, and all of a sudden nothing's working out for them.
Mm.
And so, and we needed the 7 personal year to say, oh, to get all worked up and get, that's why people come to your channel, Linda G's, all these channels to say, hey, I can't be alone in this.
Yeah.
And we're not going to let you be alone.
Mm.
No, not at all.
So so going more into 2024, since we're
Hmm.
going there, um, with the 8, going into an 8 universal year, what all do you see, like, in regards to connecting it to, like, the politics in the US? Um,
Yeah.
I know that we had talked a little bit, we were gonna talk a little bit about Biden and Trump, but
Hmm. So the the 8 universal year for America, I want to remind you that USA is a 5 life path. So it's
Mhm.
almost like a football, when it hits the ground, you don't know what direction it's going to go
Yeah.
into. And it's a little bit immature. It's an
Mm.
immature kind of thing. But it's beautiful as well. And people change their mind quickly in America and can do big things in America. So you couple that with the 8 universal year. But let me go a little farther
Yeah.
and say, so this is going to be an incredible year for Biden,
Mhm.
and here's why. He is a 2 life path, which is always the kumbaya. Let's meet in the
Bringing people
middle.
together.
He's defined differently through this time in office. Before it was, let's go have a drink, slap on the back. It's
Mhm.
not, they come to the table and say, this is what I won't do. Right. That's what Kamala Harris said last night on TV. This is what I won't do. And so that's new that's good for a 2 uh, life path number. And when he moves into the 8, everything he's been trying to say and get through to people, it's going to release and be understood. It's almost like there's going to be a compilation of all of his declarations of truth, and it's going to resonate like
Yeah.
never before in the uh, eight life path or 8 universal year. And so Biden is going into a 3. The reason the wind is at his back, he's going into a 3 personal year for Joe. Joe Biden's personal year is a 3, which makes him articulate, casual, not like slap on the back casual, but I mean, he rests, because I can see him pretty wrapped up, and he's so good at presenting and everything, but it's going to get easier for him.
So like
And
more
he's going to start
relatable.
creating the stuff you think he's done well now. Watch next year. He's going to put so much stuff through, just amazing amount. So it's a really good thing. Trump, on the other hand, being a 4, a 4, and you know who else is a 4? His son, Trump Jr. is a 4. So that's why their relationship's so tight, because whatever they don't, he doesn't move in, then son doesn't move as either. It's a real club. But the 1 personal year is going to be really hard, because even if you personally was a 4, if you were a 4 life path number, that means you are a quiet seeker. You are controlled, delayed gratification. You work hard on things. Things have to be in a certain order for you to feel comfortable. And of course, the opposite is the shadow side. So I won't go into that. But in an 8 personal year, the 4 is really good. That's universal. But he's moving into a 1 personal year. It's an 8 universal, which means tangible things are going to happen to him, what he's created this last 7 years. So that's going to be tough on anybody who's like a 4 life path going into a 1 personal year. That's when you have to try new things and be a little braver and have more courage to set up a fresh start. And that can be hard for someone who's a 4, who's stuck in his ways and stuff like that. That being said, that's when he is going to have new things happen to him. And one of the things that has never happened to him is a conviction. And all we need is 1 out of 94, 91 crimes. So
now, intuitively, and I've said this before, but I almost feel like Trump will have the votes to get the nomination, but then I don't see him on the ticket come the fall time for November. And the health always really jumps up to me, like either, a passing or like a major health event that takes him out of the picture. How does that kind of correlate with like the numbers and going into a 1 year? Would that be more like finishing up that 9 year into?
Okay, as an example, he could have given up hot dogs and hamburgers. You got to give up what it isn't working for you anymore, or the Ativan or whatever he's working on, whatever drug he's on or whatever. All of that stuff. So what doesn't work for him anymore, and trying to push the steel and all that stuff. Well, I'm not saying everybody who's starting a 1 personal year is going to have a health crisis at all. But when you're moving into new experiences, that could be one of his experiences. A man of his age, and I've just noticed his mind kind of collapsing, and I think it's because of the stress.
Well, I think even when he was president, I think that there was some early dementia happening.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it was those up all night tweets and things. At
Mhm.
least we knew where he was.
Right?
But yeah, it's going to be all brand new if he does survive. A triple a slipper trip or something like that. If he does some,
Mm,
because I think Andre was saying something about health,
okay.
but it's all going to be new territory that's offered to him. And as a 4 life path, he'll be stubborn to change.
Mm,
So it's just going to be something to witness. But every time a person witnesses someone struggling and doing really, really bad and then getting their fair share, it's warden. I don't know that word, but when someone who's been mean gets their due, and
mhm.
it feels good that we haven't had much of that feeling good that there's been consequences paid
Yeah,
for. But in a one personal year, he's going to be so much fish out of water. Same with Trump Jr., Don Jr., that they're just going to be acting out, because the more uncomfortable that family gets, the louder they are, except
right.
for Ivanka. Ivanka spent 2023 all about her image. She has a
Mm,
2 personal year. So it's
yeah.
all about how she appears and what she's doing, and all those lovely pictures of her with her
Well,
children, swinging them on the grass.
and I think
I
even,
think,
like, I heard her, like, trying to network with, like, Kim Kardashian and, like,
mhm.
some of those elites trying to rebrand herself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And she might, if she doesn't go to jail or something like that, but she might, the wind is at her back for 2024, because that's when you go into a 3 personal, and she is very creative. She can think
Mhm.
outside the box, and very talented. But a 3 personal year is like you get to create and you also get the applause. It's
Mm,
just that what you create has to be real and
yeah,
not fantasy. And I think with this past few years, what that's put her through, I think she's woken up
yeah.
and thought, oh, this is a dangerous island I'm sitting on.
And I've
So,
always seen her flipping on Trump too, so maybe it's by doing the right thing and, giving up that helpful evidence, maybe it keeps her out of jail. I mean, I feel like she might get some, like, probation or even, like, maybe some house arrest. I don't see prison for her, but,
mm-mm. Well,
maybe if she does that right thing, it helps her a little bit.
Jared Kushner is
Mhm.
also uh, is going to be a 1 life path. I'm sorry, 1 personal year for 2024. So all that family is all going through big transitions.
Yeah,
And but I have a feeling, because Jared is a very quiet man, and with a 1 personal year, and his wife is in a 3 personal year. I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't think it's going to be quiet. I think we're going to see more of him in the news.
oh, yeah.
Um,
He's got some trouble he's about to
you think?
step in. Yeah.
What do you think of what do you think is coming
I
for
think
him?
he's gonna get in trouble for, all of those backdoor deals with the Saudis and making all of that money. I could actually I do feel pretty strongly, I think that, Kushner may spend some time behind bars.
He sure has gotten away with a lot. I wonder how much dirt he has on people,
Mm,
because he went to Mexico and changed the energy of Mexico, but it's all behind the scenes. And there had to be money in that, because the president of Mexico, all of a sudden, even though the Trump era has been terrible on him,
yeah,
didn't like him, Kushner went down there and shared some time, and all of a sudden he's now a big man. The president of Mexico is starting to get a little chesty over things, like he's the man. So there's
mm,
got to be some money there for entertainment purposes
yeah,
only. But but that's That's how I believe. But he's a scary one. He's a scary one. I'm trying to think what else.
What what's Putin's personal year look like going into 2024?
Yeah, Putin. Let me just find him here because he was. I had him here. So Zelensky and Putin are very impressive people on their own. Zelensky is more idealistic, but still very powerful at an 11
Mhm.
life path and can think outside the box. And Putin is definitely inside the box at a 7 life path number, which means he's very smart and strategic and
Yeah.
goes by the numbers and percentages and all of that stuff. Zelensky is, I mean, they're perfect in this squabble because Zelensky is like moving quickly
Hmm.
and getting things done, right? Because
Yeah.
Putin is like the bully coming in. But they're both going into a 7 personal year, which means so we just lived a 7 personal year, remember? So it's
Mm.
this defining who you are. And I think the resistance of Ukraine is going to grow. I don't know
Yeah.
how it's going to grow because it kind of needs money to grow, but I know they're strong, but it looks like there's going to be some sort of input that's going to liberate them sooner. Even if it isn't the United States, there's something under the curtain, behind the curtain for that. Now, Putin, um, to be that, let me explain something about a 7 life path. I hope nobody takes offense to this, but it's something I learned when I was, when I do on a lot of readings, because they 7 life paths have the potential of being geniuses. They are
Hmm.
the engineers. They do hard science. They are NASA. They are um, just incredibly bright people. And they are really fun to be around if their occupation and interest is in the hard sciences. 2
Mm.
and 2 is 4. If it's a square box they live in, and then things get done. Amazing things get invented. Um, the trouble begins, I've noticed on the phone. So when I talk to people, like if there's a gentleman that calls me and I find out it's a 7 life path gentleman, but he's absolutely obsessed with his ex-girlfriend that needs to come back and things like that.
Yeah.
It's when those are soft edge topics. You can't predict what a person's going to say or do. And it's mind boggling to a 7 life path when they can't predict it because they're so good at predicting.
Yeah.
And then they turn into stalkers. They can be obsessed as much as they would study engineering, they would study this person and focus on this person. They can be dangerous.
Yeah.
They can
Well, and
be
I think
dangerous.
Putin is obviously he's very strategic and smart, but he's also, I think, really focused on the power, right? Like,
Yeah, but because I don't think he has an emotion to,
no,
oh, this is it. I don't think he has an emotion to win as much as, I mean, he does have an emotion to win, but he has a strategy that's going to make him win.
right.
Whereas Zelensky has emotion to win.
Mm.
And he's got enough people around him. I'm sure there's a 7 amongst them
Yeah.
to get that strategy, that strategy out in hard science.
Mm.
But you're going to see a better world. I promise a better world in 2024. We're going to enjoy each other. You're going to see people, you're going to see the numbers in action,
Mm.
and then feel confident and less less despair as we go forward.
Now, going into an 8, do you feel like that's going to help with how polarized we are right now? Or do you
Well,
feel like,
that's the thing.
yeah,
It'll start out still polarized, But those who believe in lies that have been spread, I won't say what they are, but everyone knows what the lies are, that can't be backed up with any proof. And so that has to drop away slowly but surely. We've got all this time till November 2024 to have the sand underneath that house of Trump to wear away, and it will.
Yeah.
It'll collapse. It has to, because it's not truth.
Right.
So
I
yeah.
love that. Cece asked a good question here. I'm going to pull up real quick, and I don't know if you've looked at it before, but Cece says, Deborah, have you looked at the path for the Democratic Party 2020 onwards, the inception
Thank
date?
you. Thank you for that. 1/8/1828. Oh boy, I love this.
Hey, Terry.
See, we can get in the weeds, girl. So I'm going to take January 8th and then I'll add 8 for 2024. It comes up, oh my God, it comes up to a 17/8. So this is going to be their finest hour, it looks like, because that's an 8, a party of truth, a party of universal kindness and understanding and fairness. That is what our world is aspiring to be. That's what we are living as. And so Democratic Party is going to be great. Now that's the personal year. I'm going to do their that was the universal year. No, personal year.
Well, maybe
18.
if Cece is a good investigator, maybe we can find out the inception date of the Republican Party and compare it.
Yeah, that would be cool. One. I see what has come. Oh my goodness. Oh wait. Just a minute more. One more. I'm not used to doing 18. 20. Yeah. So it's interesting because when it was born and established January 8th, 1828, that was the number, their life path number is 1. They stand alone, even though they're trying to pull the community together. But when Lincoln was around and the Democratic Party wanted slavery, it's like we need to be different. We need to be number 1. And the only way we're going to do that is if we had this help or something like. But then it morphs into the kindness. We did grow as a community, as the Democratic Party, and now it is being number 1. So it's a competitive. It's competitive, but we haven't seen the Democratic Party be competitive, right?
Yeah.
And we want to be a little more aggressive.
And I see that happening, I think, in the next 2024 and kind of onwards. I feel like as the younger progressive leadership starts to really take place, it's like they have that fire, they have that fight.
Yes. Oh, you're right. You're right, because it's the age of the constituents, the age of the politician that will do that. Man, that's impressive. Thank you, Cece. I didn't know that. So Democratic Party.
Cece says she'll post the inception dates of the GOP, but there's 2 of them.
Yes, I know. Democratic Party. The thing is, we all grow within our lifetimes. We're here to learn who we are through relationships and
experiences.
Experiences. So the experiences of the young people, because there's a huge age gap between the average person and the people in power, and that's because I believe the internet came by, and it was so incredibly amazing to become so educated, right, with the internet. And it was so interesting to stay that way, and something had to shake it up, and we just lived through it. What's supposed to shake it up?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to look up the birthday of the GOP and see if I can just
Misty
wait,
just
there it is. There it is. There it is. Thank you.
thank you.
3, 2, 54. Okay. 1854. This is exciting. You guys
That's
are
really interesting, isn't it?
yeah, it is. 5. Oh, sorry. 5.
I could listen to you talk numerology and politics all day. So this was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Well, there's good news. Good news that the party of GOP, the GOP is going into the 8 universal year, but it's a 4. They are going to be stubborn. They're going to dig in. They're going to say the same old lies and things
Mm,
like that. So they're true to that. Let me find their life path number. They're just like America. No wonder they've been in power and then they stay in power. America is a 5 life path, and so is the GOP.
mm.
5 life path with a 4 personal year. Yeah. So and this is an 8. We're going to be fine because the Democratic Party is the 8 personal year. And with that proud 1 life path. We're going to be fine. That's a good information. It makes me happy.
Yeah, and you said the GOP is an 8 too, but they're not really based in the truth, are they?
Right. Well, everybody's going to be affected by 2024 being an 8,
Yeah.
but they are a 5 life path, which means that where should we go? Let's do this, and that instant thing. And they love the camera. Oh my God, put me on the camera. I'm so beautiful.
Mm,
But the 4 personal year and an 8 universal year is stubborn
mm.
because you can't roll a box.
Well, and I
You
kind of
can't.
feel before the next election too, I've been predicting it for a while. I kind of see the Republican Party imploding before the election. So you're going to have this extremism, this MAGA part of the party, and then we're not seeing it yet, but there's a little bit more middle of the road that are they're butting heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I got to tell you, how even you were saying it's going to take a couple years to iron this out, even though
mm,
it's been so long. It's because once we cut the head of the snake off, it's been they've been infiltrating
yeah.
inside. Now, if this one thing goes through with being an insurrectionist and things like that, that will open the door to being able to move forward with other people who want to be on the ballot for senator or this or that through the states. So that's one way to clear out some of it.
Mm,
But I'm just thrilled they're taking that step. God bless them.
yeah. Well, and it's going to be really interesting too because they're kind of coming up towards the end, and I've always felt like it's going to take the Republican Party a couple years to kind of rebuild, rebrand. I kind of feel like the Republican Party in 2024 is going to be the tower. So it's like they're all kind of crumbling and falling apart because their party with Trump wasn't built on a strong, solid foundation. And so what's no longer serving that party comes crumbling down, but it's ultimately an opportunity for them to rebuild. And it's hard to see it right now, but they're going to be a much better party in a couple of years. They're not going to be quite as extreme or really fueling on all the hate.
You're giving them a lot of benefit of the doubt. I believe that I'm sorry, but the IQ of the people in power now that
Mm,
are under Trump, that nominated by Trump because it had that bully stuff, but they really don't know government.
mm,
They're not very bright. I believe that's what has to crumble, but their pride is going to I don't think they're going to go down without a fight. So it
Oh,
might. I think
absolutely.
you're right. A couple years, but
It's going to be like a civil war within the Republican Party. I feel it's going to take them a couple
yeah,
years to kind of get it all sorted out. I kind of feel like Liz Cheney will kind of lead the new Republican Party and help rebuilding it. Cece said that there was another date for the GOP. If we can just look at that real quick.
sure.
I'm not sure which
Uh,
one's accurate, but Cece says October 12th,
okay.
1853. A plaque erected at hotel to show when the Republican Party was first named.
So that 1853. So that means I don't know if I don't know about that date only because the numbers don't serve them now. There's a three. It's like a 3 personal year with a 3 life path. Um, that would make them very creative, thinking outside the box, casual.
Mm.
That sounds more democratic,
So
but
the first date resonates stronger with you.
yeah, the other one, yes. But I'm going to research that.
That would be definitely something cool to look more into,
Yeah.
and then it would make it a little bit easier to kind of compare what's going on between the two parties.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think the last person that I wanted to look at, are we able to look at Netanyahu in Israel with everything that
Netanyahu is
happened?
having he's going into a 3 personal year,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't look up his life path, but he has a little longer, more. He has little longer for his good luck in cruelty.
Okay.
At the blood, he's got that wind, and also around him, immediately around him, there is the applause that he needs because nobody's given it
Yeah.
ever here. But he's surrounding himself with people that applaud him, just like other strongmen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a little more time that he has to be, unfortunately, one of the world's worst characters right now.
Yeah.
He has a wonderful opportunity to be an amazing leader, and he's blowing it.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I don't know if it's next year or maybe it's the following year, but I don't see him in power for much longer.
Right. I don't believe so either, only because it's like anything, it's still a universal 8, which
Mm-hmm.
he's got to come through with real live good reasons why he's doing everything, or else it's just his popularity is going to be bad. Like by the middle of
Oh yeah.
next year, it's got to be from the people that get him out. Just like with Trump, we have to have the people say no more,
Yeah.
and we're here.
Yeah. I don't see him. I see him losing a lot of support, and I don't think he's being viewed at very favorably as a strong leader.
What's weird is that a 3 personal year is a lot of creativity,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're in that mindset, it's like it can be creative cruelty, right? It can go either way. It's the year of creating. Life doesn't mind what you create, it's that you create. It's a blessing to that. But if you're interested in like stuff like that, it doesn't stand for long.
Yeah. Well, this was a lot of fun, Deborah. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed this so much, and
Yeah,
everybody's so wonderful here. I really appreciate it.
And maybe we'll have you back on, and we'll use the numerology in doing some quick mini reads for some of the subscribers. That would be fun.
Let's do that. That'd be great. Thank you.
But I found it really fascinating, kind of what's going on, and from a different perspective. A lot of people come and see the psychic intuitive impressions or the astrology, but I think it's really fascinating to do the numerology with it too. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's such nice and so nice to be here. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, everyone, please make sure that you go over to Deborah's channel, Grow Your Light, subscribe, she does a lot of politics, and you do personal over there as well.
Personal.
So you
Mhm.
you, you have a good amount of content that you're creating, and I've been seeing a lot of, collaborations too,
Yes.
so a lot of fun going on in your channel. Please make sure you go over and like and subscribe to her channel and to mine, and, all of Deborah's information, her website, her, her clarity cards here, all
Yeah.
of her classes, that's all listed on her website, and all of that
Mhm.
information is in the description box if you'd like to get a hold of her, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, everyone, you have a happy holidays, sending you a lot of love and blessings, and we'll see you real soon. All right, take care.
Bye, everyone.